Hello everyone, it's Dawn and welcome to our Friday project. So today we're going to end the week with a note card holder. This is going to be for a 3x3 note card holder. And I've got three little sets, or three packs that were 3 packs. Well, they still are 3 packs, but I didn't want them all separated. I want them in one holder. So that's what we're going to do. And it's an easy project. Now, this was inspired by this project here that came from a magazine. Now, I like the way this is done, but I didn't really see the need for this big structure just for a pen. It looks a bit like one of those things you see in banks when they chain the pens down. So we're going to make a more streamlined version. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That's very pretty. But if you want a more streamlined version, we're going to do it this way. So I'm going to make mine 3.5. Well, it'll be 3.5 by 3.5 to give it a bit, give our pages here a bit more space. So you're going to start off with a piece of pattern paper that measures 10.5 by 10.5 inches, and all of these measurements will be in the description below the box, below the video. So just click on the word more and it'll drop down and you'll see all the measurements and any other information you're likely to need. So just use, you don't have to use this paper, use whatever you've got, use whatever 12 by 12 pattern paper. That's what I used. I used a 12 by 12 and cut it down to 10.5. So just use whatever you've got in your stash, that's fine. But you will need, well, you'll need a whole piece to cut down, and then you'll need scraps of another piece. You don't have to use the same one. I've used the same design throughout, but you'll see what I mean as we go along. So 10.5 by 10.5, and you're going to score it at 3.5 inches and 7 inches. And then you're going to rotate it like that. And you're going to score it again at 3.5 and 7. Now, I've already done that just to save a little bit of time. Then what we're going to do, we're going to take a pair of scissors. We're going to do all of this in real time together so that we can follow what's going on, so that everybody has a chance of following off what we're doing. So just cut up to the score line. Don't cut past it, otherwise the thing will just fall apart. And we're going to do the same thing there. Just cut up to the score line. And what we're going to do, on the edge pieces, on the outside pieces, we're just going to cut a tiny wedge off of both ends, just to make it less bulky, or to stop it from being bulky when we put the thing together. So we're going to do that side as well. So hopefully you can see. I'm in a slightly better position. I still can't see through the camera, but hopefully you can. So we're going to cut that like that. And then what we're going to do, we're going to swivel it round. Let me just stand up for a second to make sure you can still see. You can, absolutely wonderful. And we're going to do exactly the same. So we'll go through that process again. Cut up to the score line, but don't go past it. And again, we'll do that on that side as well. So just brush any bits out the way. On the outside ones, again, we're going to just cut off a little wedge on both ends to avoid the bulk when we put this together, which we'll do in just a minute. So we'll just take the wedges out of this final section here, and then we'll start putting it together, because you will need other bits and pieces as well. So don't run off, because otherwise you won't see the base. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to find some glue. Oh, there we go. We've got some glue. That's all good. Get it ready. And what we're going to do is flip it over and fold in the score lines like this. Now, one of the things I did notice on the other one, I'll show you in a minute. Let me just fold these score lines so I don't forget that I haven't done them, or so I don't forget to do them. So let me just fold these score lines very, very quickly. So we're going to fold all of our score lines. It'll just make putting the thing together simpler. Now, I'll leave that there for a second, because there was one thing I did notice. On this one, it's the same all the way around. Now, that's fine when the pad is new, but I was thinking that when you get to the bottom of the pad, that's going to be very difficult to get out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to decide which part will be the front, and it really doesn't matter. So if you have it, let me just check that you can still see. You can, absolutely excellent. So let me just push that up a little tiny bit. So if you have it with your tabs facing to the left and right and not up and down, what you're going to do, I'm not even going to bother measuring mine. I might use a ruler, but you know what, I might not. What we're going to, I'll tell you what, we will use a ruler. We're going to start, I don't know how much, I haven't decided yet. I would say we don't need to be very precise. About 3/4 of an inch in, and we're going to do that on both sides. Yes, I think that'll be about right. 3/4 of an inch in on one of your panels, and cut down, I would say to about, now I haven't worked this out, yeah, I'd say 2.5 inches, so 1/4 of an inch in, and cut down, or draw down, to 2.5 inches. So I haven't written these measurements down, but I'll add them when I do the description box later on. I will add these measurements, so just do that. And then we're going to, actually I'm going to leave that as a mark. I'm not going to cut it yet because we need to glue it. So let's get it together first, then we'll work out what we're going to do, or how we're going to do that front panel. So let's get the glue. So I think it might be easier. I'm not quite sure which way is the best way to do it. I don't think it makes much difference, to be honest. So I'm going to have it that way. And what we're going to do, we're going to fold it up like that. So if we put glue on our flaps, first of all, now it's better to use glue because glue will stick, or tape will stick, but eventually tape will dry out. So if you're going to use tape, make sure you put glue on it as well. If you want that instant stick, please do feel free to use tape, but make sure that you put some glue on it, otherwise it'll dry out. The tape will dry out after a while and it'll all fall apart. So we're going to do that on all 4 sides. So we're just going to pop some glue on our flaps or on the sides. It doesn't really matter which way around you do it. And I'm going to just line that up like that. So, well, I'm just going to stand up so that A, I can see what I'm doing, and B, you can see what I'm doing. So if I can look in my screen and do this, I can see what you can see, hopefully. So that's looking good so far. So let's just turn that round again. You could line the inside as well if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. But that's entirely up to you. So I'm going to just squiggle some glue. Actually, do you know what? Let's glue both sides, both tabs at the same time. And do you know what? You twit, Dawn. That's this week's deliberate mistake. I've put the glue on the wrong side. Okay, so if that does happen, that was a genuine mistake. If that does happen, you get yourself some wet, make sure you've got some wet wipes like that on standby, because I'm always making a mess of things and doing it wrong. And if you wipe it off, these are just water-based wipes. They're the sort of things that you'd use for wiping babies after you've washed them or changed their nappy. Just wash it off, and hey-ho, it's as if it never happened. So fold it in first. So my biggest tip, I think, is fold in your flaps before you do that. So that's what you do. If you do what I've just done and accidentally glue the wrong side, of course, if you tape that wrong side, you wouldn't have much chance of getting it off. So if you use glue and you do happen to do what I did, just use a wet wipe and wipe it off. Easy peasy. So we're going to slide that in there, get one set. Again, I'm going to stand up so that I can see what I'm doing, and again, you can see what I'm doing. So we're just going to get that all lined up, and that's looking really good now. Now, I'm not sure if I can show you in a way that will actually be seen, but in there you'll see that I've drawn in my marks to cut out. So lay that down like that, and what we're going to do, this is going to be tricky to show you how, but I'm sure you can see what I'm doing. If I tip it up, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut down just to where I've drawn those marks, where we did those measurements for the front. So just cut it down to that. You can't see, but you'll see when you're doing it. And then the easiest way of doing it, that bit here could be a bit tricky to cut. So if you fold that out like that and just give it a pinch, and then what you can do is lift it slightly and just cut along that fold line, and hey ho, you have a perfect slot. Now I'm going to put that to one side just for a moment to let that glue dry for just a little bit longer, because we need to make a base. And to make the base, you will need a piece of mount board, or you can use chipboard if you want to. If you haven't got either, you can use cardboard, or you can use cereal packets and stack it by about four pieces thick. So this measures 4 by 4, and you will need a piece of pattern paper that also measures 4 by 4. And this time, actually, do you know what? Let's put the glue on the base and not the paper, because it really doesn't matter. And it is better to use glue for this because it will stick firmer and it won't come unstuck. So let's just pop that down, and I'm going to hold that down just for a few seconds. It won't need any more than that. And then what we're going to do, there are 2 things we need to do. We need to pop that, actually there are 3 things we need to do. Put that on there, put the notepads in, and make the pen holder. And I'll show you how we're going to make the pen holder in just a minute. So if we, what should we do next? I'll tell you what, let's pop this together. So again, I'm going to use glue. If you want to use a piece of foam tape or a couple of strips of foam tape to put this together, you can. I'm going to use glue because it's quicker. And I've got glue on my desk. So I'm just going to centre that. And of course, if you use glue, you've got time to get it in the right place. And I think that's about right. So once you've got it in place, just pop a hand in and just hold it down just for a second. That's all it needs. And that's a really, really nice notepad. Now, I'm going to just slot my notepads in. Make sure I've got it with the pages facing front. So I'm going to put them in. Now, I know there's far too many. I know this is too big, but I've got some more of those and I want to stack them up. Well, I haven't got some more, but I'm going to get some more, because these little 3 by 3s are really handy. So you'll see now what I mean about the bits at the bottom as you get to the bottom of the pack. Without that gap there, that would be awfully difficult to get in, to get your hand in. So I'm going to leave that like that. And as I say, I'm going to get about 3 more packs and stack them up, which is why I've made it bigger. But if you just want it to make it for the size of however many you've got, just cut it down. I know that sounds double Dutch, but I'm sure you get what I mean. Now, there's just one more thing to do. I did say we were going to make a pen loop, and indeed we are. And you will need a piece that measures 2 by 3 inches. And again, I'm using the same paper. And so what you do, let me just pop that to one side. Take your pen. Can you see that? Yeah, take your pen. Now, what I shouldn't have done was cut my nails before we started. Wrap it round, and just not too tight, otherwise it won't come out. And just roll it till you get to the end like that. And for quickness, then I'm going to take it back, but I'm not going to take it out. What I am looking for is my red runner tape. Right, found it. Sorry, I was trying to take the lid off with my teeth so it didn't come up. So it didn't come undone. So we're going to just put a blob, or a strip, I should say, not a blob, of runner tape, and roll it until that meets like that. Hold it just for a minute or a second, that's all it needs. And then you need to stick it to the side of your notepad. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the pen out. I'm just going to use a piece or a strip of glue, and I'm going to put that glue where the join is on the pen loop, just along there. So there's my glue, and I'm going to stick it so that it comes flush with the top of the holder. So you can put yours on the left, you can put it on the right, you can put it on the back if you want to. I'm going to put mine there, which is on my left as I look at it. So just hold it for a few seconds. That should do it. Put the glue top on so that so it doesn't dry out. Then all you do, I would actually wait for the glue to dry. Pop your pen in, and there you go. You have a very neat notepad holder with a pen loop. And if I tilt it backwards, you can see what it looks like from the front. So there you go. We've got a very quick and easy notepad holder, 3x3 notepad holder with a very neat pen loop on the side. So I hope you've enjoyed that and that you have a go yourself. And as always, if you do have a go yourself, please do come and join our Crafty Capers with Dawn Facebook group. They're a lovely group, they really are. And come and show us your versions. And if you've got a different way of doing it, do share that too. That's fine. Or if you've got any other ideas, crafting ideas that you'd like us to share and even have a go, do let me know, because we're always interested in new ideas. Or if you don't want to do that, pop them in the comments on this YouTube channel. That's absolutely fine. So if you're a subscriber to our channel, thank you very much. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give me a thumbs up. That would be fantastic. If you're not a subscriber but you've still enjoyed the video, please do subscribe and click that notification bell. It doesn't cost a thing. And add any comments that you like, and I reply to all of them, I promise. And so I will see you next time for another video. And until then, have a great weekend, everybody. Have fun, and as always, happy crafting. Bye-bye for now.